Hello everyone, welcome to the online session of Manu Law Classes. My name is Brijesh and I am the English faculty at Manu Law Classes. In today's session, we are going to discuss about some questions which are relevant to your CLAT exams as well as AILET and other law entrance examinations. Make sure that you are watching the video till last because the video has been divided into two parts. Part A, which is totally dedicated to CLAT section, and Part B, which is dedicated to AILET and other sections. But also Part B will be helpful to your CLAT section as well. So make sure that you are watching the video till the end. So before we proceed any further, I would like to inform you that the admissions for 1 year and 2 year programs are still open. For more information, you can log on to www.lawentranceindia.com and you can also call us on 9971444054. Our representative will help you understand how to fill the form and each and every process of CLAT along with the benefits of enrolling into a law college. You can also avail our 15 days trial program. To do that, you need to find the link in the description below. You need to locate sign up for 15 days free trial and you can fill the form. What do you get in 3 days trial program? You get live classes with one-on-one interaction. You also get recorded conceptual lecture on various topics, topic test and sectional test along with the detailed analytics of your performance which you have taken there. We are here to guide you, help you understand and counsel you. So do not wait and call us today. Alright, so let us understand Part A, which is totally based upon CLAT new pattern comprehension based tests. In this section, as you know, there will be a passage of around 450 words wherein you will be given 5 questions to answer. So to answer that, you will have two options. Either you can read the passage first and then solve the questions. But what I recommend is first go through the question and then come to the passage. In that way, you will be focused upon what you need to answer. Instead of reading whole the passage and understanding one word each, you need to understand that what is the demand of the question maker, because the target for you is not to comprehend the passage fully. You have to understand this thing that you have to answer the question within the time frame which has been given to you. So if you start focusing upon learning and understanding each and every word, you might end up wasting a lot of time. So what I recommend is that you need to read the question first and then you read the passage so that you can answer the question within the given time frame. So there will be 3 slides for you. I'll be giving you this slide for 1 minute there. But before that, I would like you to read the question with me. What is the first question? The writer hated going to the doctor. So this is a fact which has been taken from the passage itself. We need to find some keyword in the question so that while reading the passage, we can memorize it. This is the place where we have to answer the question. So what we need to do here is pick one word from para 2. So it is quite obvious that there is something in para 2 which is reinforcing this idea. What is the idea? The writer hated going to doctor. So the first thing that you need to do is to understand the question very well. Otherwise, आप answer नहीं कर पाओगे question को. So there are 4 options for you: endured, spluttered, bothering, dismiss. You need to be assured that you know these words and then only you will be able to answer the question. You need to find that which words among these will strengthen the idea that the writer hated going to the doctor. So this was the first question. Question number 2 is, why did the writer not want to go to the doctor? So the first question was about strengthening the idea. What was the reason that the writer hated going to doctor? And next question is, why did the writer not want to go to the doctor? So the scenario is different. The first one was about attitude. The second question is about the circumstance that writer is in right now. So there are 4 options before you. You need to read them one by one as fast as possible. Question number 3 says from para 3. So it is very obvious that now you have to be focused upon para 3. It says, what does the line? So this line specifically has been taken from the passage itself. I immediately thought how nice it would be if only I dared. So this is the statement by the writer, by the protagonist in the story. Tell you about writer's character. Okay, so by reading this, what idea comes in your mind? What happens when this kind of line is spoken by a person? So there are 4 options you have to choose out of them. Question number 4 is from para 3. Again, you have to be focused upon para 3 whenever you are just reading para 3. Be alert. How does Lydia, so there is another character introduced before you, so whenever Lydia is introduced, make sure that there is a question from Lydia. Change the writer's outlook, so outlook or perspective you can say. So there are 4 options that how this character Lydia helped the writer change her perspective towards things. The next question is, what from the doctor's perspective was his assessment of the child? So when you will read the passage, you will understand that what was the doctor's reaction when he saw the child. Now, after you have done reading all the 5 questions, you have some basic and fair idea about what is going to be asked in the passage and what I have to look for exactly in the passage. So now, let us read the passage and answer the question. I am going to tell you here how a beginner should start reading the passages. If you are very good at passage, you can read in flow, but if you are not good at reading something and if you have not practiced a lot about reading and all those things, so my suggestion is here will be reading each word of the passage and trying to understand the meaning at the same time. Let us understand and read the passage word by word. The warm summer wore away. There will be kind of phrasal verb. You have to understand the meaning of the phrasal verb, because sometimes phrasal verb does not mean actually what they look like. So wore away, what do you mean by wore away? So here the actual meaning of wore away is not like you are just wearing something and just removing something out of your body. That is like gone. Here the meaning of wore away is gone. The warm summer wore away and a cold autumn set in. Again a phrasal verb. So these kind of phrasal verb confuse you while reading, so you need to be assured that you are prepared beforehand before you are going for the exam. When I put gloves on the baby, she chafed them and had to sit in her prom with cold and wet hands. I did not mind for myself, but I did not know how to keep her warm. Now what you notice in the passage so far, that you see a mother who has a baby. So while discussing in my previous video, I just talked about some formula that was CUC, means communicate, understand and concentrate. How do you concentrate? When you are reading, there are several ways on internet you can find that how to concentrate, but I can tell you some one which are like have a timer on. If you have a timer on, your mind will be alert and you will be focused. On the other hand, when you're reading story word by word, you are concentrated. So try to read the passage by speaking, like the way I am doing. So this is for beginner. If you are expert, if you are an intermediate level, so you can read that thing in mind also, but initially when you start reading, you just read word by word. Next para says, I did not know what to do with her as I hated going to the doctor. So now as soon as you read the first line, just talk to yourself what communication has been made to you by this line itself. I had expected I would be finished with doctors once she was born. So here I refers to the writer and she's saying that she had an idea that when the baby is born, I would be free from going to the hospital. So remember, there was a question about writer's attitude of not going to the hospital. So where here itself we can get some idea. Though I subsequently, so you need, if you do not know the meaning of subsequently, you need to note it down somewhere and make the note out of it that what is the meaning of subsequently. So basically कहने का मतलब ये है कि एक भी वर्ड जिसकी मीनिंग आपको नहीं आता, अगर आप उसे लीव कर दोगे, so maybe there are possibility कि आप पैसेज को ना समझ पाओ. So I do not encourage leaving a word without knowing its meaning. So if you do not know the meaning of subsequently, आप उसे जानने की कोशिश करो. In that way only you will be able to be expert while reading. I subsequently discovered that there was an unending vaccination yet to be endured. Now hearing Octavia's heavy spluttering, so this is spluttering, you need to note down the word. I knew I would have to take her much as I would hate it. So the writer hates something. What she hates? I felt I was bothering the busy doctor unnecessarily, but it was not even my own health that was in question, but Octavia. So here the word Octavia means the name Octavia is referring to the daughter of the writer. So here the writer is more concerned about her child, not about her, but Octavia's, and so I tried to dismiss the thought of sitting in the freezing cold waiting room with her. So here you get some idea about what has been discussed here. What was the thing that the writer hated? had it been my own health, I would never have gone. So this is the great example of third conditional, where you have a perfect tense in the first clause and the would have plus participle in the second clause. So had it been my own health, I would have never gone. So you need to be sure that grammatical question can be asked from these kind of line too, removing any particles here which is not suitable for. So we have finished para 1 and para 2, and while reading, when you have read, so I am today talking about the beginners along with intermediate students who do not feel very confident about reading comprehensions basically. So you have to read in that way. So we will be coming up every month with some questions, and I'll be helping you how to solve reading comprehension when you are preparing for CLAT and AILET and other law entrance examinations. So let us read third paragraph. After I had made up my mind to see the doctor, now finally the writer is ready. I consulted my friend Lydia. So here is the introduction of Lydia, a new character. Who is she? She is writer's friend. So देखो ऐसे क्वेश्चन नहीं आएंगे कि what was the name of Lydia. ये 5th क्लास में आते हैं कि you need to know the factual. These are the factual questions. तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चन नहीं आएंगे कि writers के friend का नाम क्या है. Who suggested that I should ring up the doctor and ask him to come and see at me home. Here Lydia is empowering writer with some other information that what she could do in this kind of situation. Instead of going to him, I immediately thought how nice it would be if only I dared. Of course you dare, said Lydia. So here what her friend is trying to do, you need to notice. You can't take a sick baby out in weather like this. Then this sudden elimination. She said, anyways, look how flushed she is. Why don't you take her temperature? So when you read the passage word by word, you will not miss out any information along with the concentration that you need. So I do not say that you every time do this, but initially when you are starting preparing for any examination, you need to do in that way. Now, second slide. Astounded, I stared at her, for truly the thought of doing such a thing had never crossed in my mind. So now here you can see that the writer had never thought of this idea that a doctor can also be called at home, because she is a new mother. When you read about this story, the whole story, you will find out who she is. Looking back now after months with the thermometer as necessary as a spoon, as saucepan. So here figures of speech has been using as. It has been compared with the word spoon and thermometer together, because as spoon is necessary for our day-to-day life, when you have a baby and you're a mother, you need to have a thermometer too, so that you can keep checking on the baby. I can hardly believe this is too possible, but it was. My life had not yet changed forever. I took Octavia's temperature and it was high enough to justify ringing the bell to the doctor. To my surprise, the doctor's secretary did not sound at all annoyed. So what did you see here? Here you are seeing writers thinking what is going on in her mind. Basically, she is very afraid calling to a doctor's place because she has never done that thing, and she in her mind itself thinks that the doctor or the clinic people will be annoyed if they hear that the writer is going to call her at her place, because she was like naive, you can say. When I asked if the doctor could visit, I think I had half expected her lecture on me. So she was quite afraid before calling, but now when she called, she was confident. When the doctor arrived, he took Octavia's pulse and temperature and told me it was nothing serious, in fact nothing at all. Then he said he ought to listen to her chest. I pulled up her vest and she smiled and wriggled with delight as put the stethoscope on her fat ribs. He listened for a long time, and I, who was beginning to think that perhaps I should not have bothered him after all, sat there calmly, aware of how innocent she was, how sweet she looked, and that her waist could do with a wash. So these information are relevant because we are seeing how the doctor is going through the baby, how the doctor is examining the baby, as well as the mother is there sitting looking at all the things and absorbing all the things. So this is where you communicate with you. In that way, when you're reading something, talking to the passage, feeling at the place where doctor and the writer is sitting, you can also feel that way that you are also sitting there. So in that way, you are communicating to the passage and you do not distract in that way. I hope this idea is going to help you initially when you are preparing for the this reading comprehension section, and day by day I promise you that you will be a pro. Had I ever, again the introduction of the third conditional. By reading passage, you need to also keep these things in mind, because in CLAT examination they are also going to test your grammar skill through the passage itself. So I would encourage you to understand some structures which are very relevant, like conditional sentences or figures of speech or grammatical issues, or you can see that idiom and phrases, phrasal verbs. So these are the combination of in a para itself. So had I known, I would have enjoyed that moment more. Or perhaps I mean that I did enjoy that moment, but enjoyed nonsense. For he said, well, I do not think there is anything much to worry about. See, this is the information now you're looking for about doctor's assessment. So, well, I do not think there anything very much to worry about there, but putting but is like a contradiction, means something is good, but means there is something negative too. What is that negative thing? I could see that there he had not finished and did not mean what he said. Just the same, he added. What he added? Perhaps I ought to book you an appointment to take her along with the hospital. So what did you notice here? That doctor examined the baby and he said it is the baby is quite fine, but still he's worried a bit, like there is something with the baby. Now the mother should go to the doctor. Now the mother should book an appointment to the doctor. Now I suppose most people would have asked him what was wrong. So generally an expert person or a mature person generally asks the doctor that what's wrong with the baby that you want me to go to the hospital in this freezing cold. But still I think that the truth was that last thing I wanted to hear when I heard his voice coming to me saying that the hospital appointment would probably be free next Thursday. I was relieved at little he could not be expecting her to die before next Thursday. So here the mother was quite nervous and she thought that there is something serious which doctor is not telling her. And as soon as she heard that the next Thursday, so she was quite relieved that now she has some time in her hand and baby is quite fine too. I even mustered, so muster is kind of grazing some guts there, so mustered the strength to ask what should I do about her cold, and he said nothing about nothing at all. So what do we get from para 4 is about the information about the after the examination doctor told. Also we also got the response of mother, how she responded after hearing about the baby. When he had gone, I went back and picked Octavia up and set her on my knee and gazed at her paralyzed by fear, aware that my happy state had changed in 10 minutes to understand anguish. I wept and Octavia put her fingers in the tears of my cheek as though they were raindrops of a window pane. It seemed that in comparison with the moment, the whole of the former life had been lovely after so. So even though there was, see what happened when you read the question first, you figured out that this passage is not even relevant with regards to asking question, because the last question was about doctor's assessment. So as soon as doctor assessed and gave information on book an appointment and come to the hospital, that was it. So that's the reason we need to read the question first so that we do not waste time. So time management is something that you need to do. So what had happened, if you had read the passage at the first, you would be looking for each and every word till the last passage unknowingly that there was no any question from this passage. So this is the idea. I encourage students to read the question first and then now answer, because you have a lot of passages to do in CLAT examination, as you know, like there will be around 35 plus passages altogether of all subjects, and English is a game changer, you know. English helps you in other sections as well, as I previously discussed in my videos, that if you have better command of over English, you can understand legal passages well, you can understand reasoning passages well, you can understand GK passages well. So you have to work upon English thoroughly as possible, because it will help you in all the 4 sections, and also 50% in math section, because there will be DI and DI informations are written in English as well. So you can now understand what is the reason why I am reading and focusing on each and every word and talking to myself, and I want to encourage you to talk to yourself while reading the passage. See, there is no shortcut to success, and there is no shortcut and there is no substitute to hard work. So if you are thinking think that you would be able to do reading comprehension well because you have been studying a long time. I just want to warn you that you need some practice. Why? Because there is a tough competition and you cannot take a risk of one whole year. You want to get selected this year as soon as you pass 12. So I want to encourage you that read word by word. That is what I want to say. And if you do not know any word, just bother yourself. अब वो समय नहीं है कि आपको एक word मिला फिर आपको एक dictionary ढूंढना होता था कि नहीं dictionary खोजेंगे उसके बाद, and that was much time taking. अभी आपका समय क्या है? You just have to read something. आपने अगर ऑनलाइन सब्सक्रिप्शन ले रखा है न्यूज़पेपर का, you just have to select that word and click right button and Google searches that word itself. So आपको क्या करना है? You have to make note of the words that you do not know and immediately look for the word into Google Dictionary and try to understand. In that way you will be understanding the passage from top to bottom. Okay, so the information in this passage was from Margaret Drabble, The Milestone. Penguin book, देखो ये favorite है. Penguin book से ही बहुत सारे passages बनाते हैं CLAT. So these kind of passages are likely to be asked. Not the same one, but story related passages will be there in the passage. Alright, so now let us answer the questions. So what technique we have to use here while answering the question? We can use elimination technique, right? What do you mean by elimination technique? Like reading the word and cutting that. So here endured can be considered, splutter can be eliminated because it is not even related that splutter is something that making the writer hate going to the doctor. Bothering is also not that word and dismissing is also not that word. So here we are left with endured, means to bear or to put up with. So the word endured reinforces this idea that the writer hated going to the doctor. The next question was, why did the writer not want to go to the doctor? Let us read one by one. She did not like to go for health checkups and vaccination. This was we cannot say by reading that. We need to read more. We need to put this option for consideration. She did not want to make the choice between comfort and duty. So no, this was not an option, so we can eliminate that immediately. It was not her own health that was at stake but of her Activia. See, it is not important that कि ये जो word information जो mention किया गया है वो passage में था, whether it is answering the question or not, that is something you need to ask yourself. ये information passage में तो था, there was this line that it was not her own health that was at stake but also that was of Activia. But this is not a correct option because it is not answering the question asked here. Waiting room would be cold, so this was the idea behind the writer did not want to go to the doctor. So the correct option is D, not even A. Moving on to the next question, that is from para 3. What does the line "I immediately thought how nice it would be if I only dared" tell you about writer's character? So it's about attitude, how you take things. Option number 1, the writer is someone who always engages in wishful thinking. No, we can eliminate this option because we cannot assume this thing in passage. Next, the writer has a positive outlook towards life. Okay, we need to put it for consideration. The writer is fearful of hospital. Okay, this can also be like assumed. The writer is not someone who generally asserts herself. So here is the correct option that we were looking for. It says, I immediately thought how nice it would be only I dared. It means that the writer is someone who doesn't dare, probably. Okay, so assert here means to encourage herself to do something or what. So option D here is the correct one. Rest options are incorrect. The last question is, what from the doctor's perspective was his assessment of the child? So let us see what was the assessment. There was nothing to worry about. The mother was overtly concerned of the child. Okay, that is the incorrect option because the doctor was concerned a bit. The doctor was afraid something was wrong but did not want to worry the mother. So option B suits best, but we cannot leave other options without reading. Okay, so we can put this thing into consideration. Now, the doctor was incompetent. We cannot say that doctor is incompetent because he is a doctor and could not give a clear verdict unless, so we can eliminate it immediately. Now, the doctor was busy and did not have time for a thorough checkup and wanted the lady to book an appointment with the hospital. Doctor was not busy, it was not mentioned, so it is also incorrect information. So now we can finally say option B is the correct option. So आपने क्या समझा? What did we do? We basically read the question first word by word and after that we went to the passage, even though it took time. ये थोड़ा समय लेगा. Initially it will take time, but day by day you will be proficient enough to answer and to read quite fast. You might have heard saying that Rome was not built in a day. इसका ये मतलब नहीं होता है literally कि रोम बहुत ही एक दिन में नहीं बन गया था. रोम एक बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल सिटी है और कोई भी बड़ा और अच्छा काम होने में टाइम लगता है. सो दैट इज द थिंग. सो रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन इज स्टिल अ पार्ट ऑफ योर एग्जामिनेशन. दैट इज अ बिग डील. यू कैन से देयर आर अदर सब्जेक्ट्स, देयर आर अदर टॉपिक्स विच इज नॉट इवन द पार्ट ऑफ योर examination. So this makes reading comprehension kind of Rome. So make sure that you have to think in that way and read the passage word by word, read the question first, assume the options and then answer it. By practicing this, I guarantee you will be able to solve the passages within the time frame. Have two suggestions that have timer on before reading the passage. Next, you have to communicate, you have to talk, not just read the passage, just talk to yourself, because when you are talking to yourself and you're stuck at some word, you cannot ignore that word. You would want to know the meaning of that particular word too. Alright, so hope you enjoyed solving the passage with me, and there are some detailed rationale of the answers, that what basis was there that I answered the question. So for you, you can take a screenshot of this and analyze whether the answers are suitable there. As I said that this video has been divided into part A and part B. So we just finished part A and now switching to part B, which is AILET or OLET based questions. So I have taken two questions which are relevant to general grammar section. Okay, so now we will be observing what it asks and what should be your approach while answering the questions. Okay, so make sure that CLAT exam also needs grammar, so you have to watch this till the end because it will be helpful for CLAT, AILET and other exams as well. So this question has been taken from CLAT 17. What is the direction here? Do read the direction, otherwise you will end up answering the wrong options. Okay, so find out the sentences which is or are written correctly. So you need to look up the word or sentence. So you need to look up for the sentence which have been written correctly. Okay, so this is something that you need to keep in your mind, that while looking for the sentence you need to find whether the sentence is correct or not. So the first sentence is Charles is a gifted footballer. Okay, but up to now he did not play well in international matches. All right, so this is from the rule of concord. If you know this thing, concord means subject verb agreement. Okay, so you need to have some rule, you need to read through some rule to understand what are subject verb agreement, and then only you will be able to decide whether the sentence is correct or not. But to some students who are from I can say like CBSE pattern or ICSE pattern, they when they read the sentence they say sir ये word ये sentence अच्छा नहीं sound कर रहा है. So देखो, sometimes this will work but not always. So I would suggest that read the rules before you are going for the examination. So it says Charles is a good footballer. So you can see here it is in a present tense. So now the sentence which follows it should have the same tense, but now he did not. So you can see that this doesn't agree with is and did not. So what is the suitable tense there? That is present tense. So it should have been Charles is a gifted footballer, but up to now he hasn't. So what we need here is hasn't played well in an international examination. So this is an incorrect statement. We have been staying with Paul and Jenny until last weekend. So it is incorrect. We had been is the correct one, again incorrect. So this is incorrect, this is incorrect. He just heard the news and was rushing home to tell his family. Again, he just heard the news, so it is in past tense. This sentence would also have been in past tense. So he just heard the news and rushed home to tell his family. This is again incorrect one. So when I grow up I'm going to be an astronaut, this is a correct sentence. But make sure while answering this question be particular about options, the way they have asked. So this is kind of confusing. So when you find D, you mark D, but D has B and C, so B particular while answering. So option C has D as the correct option. So this is the correct answer here. Hope you understood how we check and see whether the sentence is correct or not. You need to have some grammar background. For that, you need to either join us or join any coaching or read books. But I would say do not compromise on grammar thing. Next question is find out the sentence, which is again the same instruction is there. Let us go through the word. Have you ever been to opera when you lived in Milan? So again, this particular clause has present perfect tense, so you have to have here the same tense, and it says you lived in Milan. So either you make it did it, because the sentence is in past tense, so you have to say did you ever go to the opera when you lived in Milan. So then this sentence will be correct. Next is the man who broke the window wants to see you. Okay, here I would say that this sentence also needs the man who broke the window. It is in past tense, so it should have wanted to see you, but according to AILET they found that this sentence is correct. Now, I wouldn't be able to meet you next week. I will stay in London for a few weeks. So it will be I will be staying in London for a few weeks. My mother, who is in her 70s, enjoy hill walking. So according to AILET, they think that enjoys hill walking should be enjoys walking in the hills should be the correct one. On this basis, they said that the statement is incorrect. But if you find this thing as a noun, like hill walking is a noun, okay, so we can say that my mother, who is in her 70s, enjoys hill walking can be a correct option. So as per CLAT examination, this sentence is correct. You can see that option B can be correct, and also D, which is according to me is already correct. Okay, so all right everyone, so this was about part B. Hope you understood. For more such information and video, you can join Manu Law classes, and also you can keep following our channel, subscribe, like and comment whatsoever topics you want us to make videos on. So I would like to say thank you so much for watching the video till the end. I hope this information would have been helpful to you. Again, I would like to mention about this bad situation which is going on in our society. Make sure that you are wearing mask, making suitable distance that you need to, because still corona thing is there, and it can cause problem to anybody whosoever is there. So make sure that you are following all the instructions provided by Government of India, along with your own precaution is necessary. So thank you so much everybody watching the video till the end. Stay tuned, keep practicing, and in case of any doubts, query, clarification, you can call at Manu Law Classes. Our representative will be helping you out in each and every information. Thank you so much.